So I'm making a YouTube video of this part of the wheel build. I didn't film the part where I laced the wheel. I also didn't film the part where I went around and tensioned up the spokes. And I've also already done the preliminary lateral truing. So this video is starting with me doing the preliminary radial truing, and then I'm going to do some spoke tensioning and some wheel dishing. So, see how this goes. So right now I got a good lateral truing on it. So this is a Park TS 2.2 wheel truing stand. And now I'm doing the preliminary radial truing. So I'm going to spin around here, and it's rubbing a little bit. And I'll narrate what I'm doing. So here it's rubbing. Starts rubbing here. And it rubs to there. That's 2, 4, 5 spokes. So I'm going to tighten all these spokes. I'm going to choose to tighten them 3/4 of a turn each. Tightening 3/4 of a turn. Then on the second one, second of 5, tightening 3/4 of a turn. Third of 5, tightening 3/4 of a turn. Four of 5, tightening 3/4 of a turn. This one's really tight. I'm going to go back and check the tension on that one. Here's the 5th one. I'm tightening it 3/4 of a turn. This one felt really tight. I'm just going to check the tension on that with a Park TM1. The tension is 25, that's fine. Okay, so there's some rubbing. That's a lot of rubbing. So it starts here and it rubs to there. So that's 3 spokes. So I'm going to tighten all those 3/4 of a turn. 1 of 3, tightening 3/4 of a turn. 2 of 3, tightening 3/4 of a turn. 3 of 3, tightening 3/4 of a turn. Okay, and every once in a while I like to start at the valve hole and grab the spokes and relieve the spoke tension. I grab it really tight. I can hear it pinging around a little bit there. Yeah, those spokes were all jammed up. Some of these spokes feel really tight already. When I true a wheel like this, a lot of the wheels that I build are these heavy 50 millimeter electric hub motors, and like I said, this one weighs 25 pounds, so a lot of the wheels I build are with that. I use these wide single wall aluminum rims, so it makes for kind of a challenging wheel build. So here I'm looking for where it's rubbing. Here I'm doing radial truing. There's some rubbing. Rubbing there. Listening for a scratch. That's 3 spokes. I'm going to tighten all those. I'm going to elect to tighten them 1/2 a turn. So here I am tightening 1/2 a turn, 1 of 3. Tightening 1/2 a turn, 3 of 3. All right. And then we're looking for more radial run out here. It's a lot of rubbing. Here's some rubbing. So it's rubbing there. starts rubbing here. So this is 4 spokes, and that may well be the 4 spokes that are already tightened. So at this point I'm going to tighten them. I guess I'll go 3/4 of a turn. No, I'll just go a half turn. One of 4, tightening half a turn. 2 of 4, tightening half a turn. 3 of 4, tightening half a turn. 4 of 4, tightening half a turn. All right. Let's see what kind of radial run out we got there. Some rubbing. So it's starting to rub there. So I'll mark it with a finger. And this is 3 spokes. And again, this may well be the 3 spokes that I already tightened. So I'll tighten this half a turn. Tightening 1 of 3, half a turn. Tightening 2 of 3, half a turn. To pull in the rim, you tighten the spokes on both sides. Again, this is radial truing. And obviously, if you think about it, if you tighten the spokes, it's going to pull in the rim. There's some rubbing. So it starts here. Okay, so that's 3 spokes that need to be tightened. I'll tighten them a half. 1 of 3, tightening half a turn. That spoke is feeling pretty tight. 2 of 3, tightening half a turn. 3 of 3, tightening half a turn. Let me check the spoke tension on this one. Make sure it's not out of control. Anything above 31 would be out of control. Right now it's at 25, so that's fine. Here we go, listening for scratching. There's some scratching. Here. So it's these 3. So I'm going to elect to tighten them half a turn. Tightening 1 of 3, half a turn. That one's really tight. Tightening 2 of 3, half a turn. Tightening 3 of 3, half a turn. Okay, here we go. Listening for scratching. There's scratching. Okay, this one, it's starting to scratch here, so I'm just going to make a small adjustment on this one, but this is where the scratching officially starts. So it's, these 3 are definitely scratching, so I'm going to tighten these 3 half a turn, and then tighten the ones on the outside of that zone a 1/4 turn. So here's the 1 of 3, tightening half a turn. 2 of 3, tightening half a turn. 3 of 3, tightening half a turn. And then the ones on the outside of that 3, I'll tighten them a 1/4 turn. So these are the 3, and then this one here gets a 1/4 turn tightening. There's scratching. It's these 2. So I'm going to tighten both those. I'm going to go 3/16 of a turn. Tightening 2 of 2, 3/16 of a turn. And now I think it's about time to go to the beginning here and go around and do this. relieve some spoke tension, just tighten that up. I'm doing this really hard. Well, those are just pinging all over the place. It's all wound up. And this actually kind of almost hurts my hands here. All right. Okay. So here we go. I want to hear some scratching. I don't hear any scratching. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the other arm here. I use a hex key to lift this up, and then I'm going to go to the other arm. Get that nice and flat. Right now it's showing like 1/4 millimeter of daylight. That's too much, so I'm going to bring it out a little bit, get some smaller scratching. That's a lot of scratching. I'll just do it bring it a little more out, okay. Okay, I want a little bit more than that. So the radial runout right now is like 2 millimeters. Okay, there's a good scratch. Okay, it's these three. I'll tighten all them 1/4. All right. Gonna loosen this up so I can get more information here. There we go. That's lots of scratching. Good. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Listening. So it starts here. And it starts here. So that's 5 spokes. They're all going to get tightened. I think 3/16 would be good. I'll go half. Okay, so I said 5 spokes. So here's tightening 1 of 5 1/2. Tightening 2 of 5 1/2. Tightening 3 of 5 1/2. Tightening 4 of 5 1/2. Tightening 5 of 5 1/2. Okay. What I do is I do the lateral truing, and then the radial truing, and then the dish, and then the tension. And then I start that over again. Lateral, radial, dish, and tension. That's the order I do it in. I cycle around making adjustments. And now I'm on the radial. Okay, let's see here. That is certainly a lot of run out. So it starts there. I have continuous scratching. Continuous scratching for 7 spokes. I'm going to go through and tighten each one of them 1/2. 1 of 7, tightening 1/2. 2 of 7, tightening 1/2. 3 of 7, tightening 1/2. 4 of 7, tightening 1/2. 5 of 7, tightening a half. 6 of 7, tightening a half. 7 of 7, tightening a half. All right. A lot of scratching here. I'm going to pull it out because that's too much. When I pulled it out a little, I still got some scratching. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so it starts here. Well, I was going to say it starts here. It's only these three. So I'm going to go 3/16. 1 of 3, 3/16 of a turn. 2 of 3, 3/16 of a turn. 3 of 3, 3/16 of a turn. That's going to be part 1 of the radial truing.